There are two kinds of students. The first type spends countless hours at their desk, fueled by caffeine and stress, highlighting and rereading their notes. The second type studies for half the time but achieves better grades with calm confidence. Which one do you want to be? Today I'll show you how to study less and achieve more. Hi, I am Aditya and I know how overwhelming studying can feel. Back in high school, I juggled preparing for national sports tournaments while keeping up with the challenging coursework. In university, balancing part time work with a full course load was no easy feat. Through trial and error, I developed strategies that turned long nights into efficient focus sessions. Let me share these game changing tips with you. So, what is the first step to making your study sessions truly effective? Let's dive into the first key principle that changed everything for me, and that is focusing on quality over quantity. First thing first, disconnect from the idea that studying longer equals studying better. Instead, focus on how you use your study time. Let me share a quick example from my own experience. Back in college, I had a biology exam coming up, and I was completely overwhelmed by the sheer amount of material. At first, I thought cramming for 6 hours straight was the only way to prepare, but then I tried something different. I spent 2 focused hours actively engaging with the content. I quizzed myself on key terms, drew diagrams to understand the processes, and explained concepts to a friend as if I was teaching him. Not only did I remember the material better, but I also had extra time to relax before the exam. Think about this. Would you rather spend 5 hours passively highlighting and rereading your notes, or 2 hours actively engaging with the material? Active study techniques like quizzing yourself, teaching the material to someone else, or tackling the practice problems force your brain to work harder and retain more information. Remember, it is not about the hours you put in, it is about what you get out of those hours. Prioritize quality over quantity and you will see better results without burning out. Now that we have covered the importance of quality over quantity, let's talk about a powerful strategy to tackle dense study materials. And it might surprise you, and that is the power of reading backward. If you're short on time, don't start at the beginning, start from the end. This might sound odd, but trust me, it is a game changer. I remember one time I had one evening to prep for the history test. Instead of diving straight into a dense 30-page chapter, I flipped to the back, read the summary, and highlighted the key points. Then I skimmed the charts and the diagrams to see how everything connected. This gave me a bird's eye view of the chapter without getting bogged down by the details. Once I felt comfortable with the bigger picture, I moved on to the first and the last paragraphs of each section. Those usually hold the main ideas. For example, I learned that the entire French Revolution section boiled down to a few major events and key causes, all neatly summarized in those parts. By the time I finished, I had enough time left to revisit the finer details in the chapter. Not only did I retain the most valuable information, but I also felt less overwhelmed. So think of this method as peeling an onion. Start with the outer layers first, then gradually work your way to the core. This layered approach ensures you get the most out of your limited time while building your understanding step by step. Speaking of working efficiently, let me introduce you to another key concept that will save both your time and energy, that is creating a batch of tasks. Did you know switching between tasks wastes precious time, and this is called the transition cost? Let me share a quick story. During my final year of university, I had a crazy week where I had a math test and a science lab report and a long essay due back to back. Initially, I tried to tackle all of them in bits and pieces, doing a math problem here, writing a paragraph there, then switching back to my lab report. It was chaos. I felt scattered and everything was taking twice as long as it should. Then I decided to batch my tasks. I grouped the math and the science work together because they both required the analytical thinking. I spent one focused evening solving math problems and working on the lab report. The next morning, I shifted my gears and dedicated my complete attention to drafting my essay. Within each batch, I started with the easiest tasks to build the momentum, like solving simple math equations before tackling the tougher ones. This approach saved me hours and kept my mind from feeling overwhelmed. So, group similar tasks together and tackle the easiest ones first. By minimizing transitions, you will find yourself getting through work faster and with less mental fatigue. Now that we have reduced the transition costs, let's talk about managing time effectively with a simple yet powerful strategy, that is time blocking. Work expands to fill the time you give it. This principle, known as Parkinson's Law, highlights why shorter deadlines can supercharge your productivity. Here is a personal example. I once had an essay assignment that my professor gave us 2 weeks to complete. I will admit for the first week I procrastinated. Then I decided to try something different. I set a timer for just 3 hours to draft the essay, no distractions, just focus work. And by the time the timer went off, I had not only finished a solid draft but also outlined the edits I needed to make. Studies show that having shorter, focused work periods can improve your output by up to 40%. Imagine you have 3 days to write an essay, you will likely to spend much of that time overthinking or working inefficiently. But if you condense the time frame, you force your brain into action, prioritizing essential tasks. Picture this, it is like packing a suitcase for a last minute trip. You will only pack what matters the most and leave the other things behind. So challenge yourself. Take a task that you would normally spread out over days and give yourself a fraction of time. You will be amazed at how much you can accomplish when you work against the clock. And when you hit a roadblock, here is a strategy to help you keep moving forward. When you are stuck, don't waste time. Skip to the next problem or question and come back later. This prevents you from falling into the sunk cost fallacy, which means spending time on something just because you started it. Let me give you a real world example. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds in history, often emphasized the importance of stepping away from a problem when feeling stuck. He once said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." He himself would often take breaks or shift his focus when he encountered a difficult question, allowing his subconscious to work on the problem in the background. Research also supports this idea. A study by University of Illinois found that taking breaks or switching tasks can improve productivity and problem-solving skills by up to 30%. Imagine you are in an exam and come across a challenging math question. Instead of losing 20 minutes trying to figure it out, move to the next one. You might find that when you come back with a clearer mindset, the solution comes more easily. But what if you're just starting a session and you're struggling to gain momentum? That is where my next tip comes handy. Begin your study session with fixed, mindless tasks like flashcards. Why? Because starting with something simple builds momentum and sets a foundation for tackling more challenging tasks. Think of it like warming up before a workout. It prepares your mind for the heavier lifting ahead. Here is an example when Serena Williams, the tennis legend, prepares for a big match. She does not immediately start with intense rallies. Instead, she warms up with simple drills focusing on precision and routine. The same principle applies here. By starting with fixed tasks like organizing flashcards or reviewing your key terms, you create a steady rhythm that makes transitioning to complex tasks like writing any essay or solving any math problems far easier. Studies show that beginning with manageable tasks can increase your productivity by up to 20%. For instance, if you allocate 15 minutes to sorting flashing cards or summarizing notes, you will feel a sense of accomplishment which boosts your motivation for the rest of your session. Now let's take your learning to the next level with a strategy that makes concepts stick in your memory. Here, instead of just tagging your notes, take it a step further by turning them into visuals like mind maps or diagrams. When I was preparing for my psychology exam in my university, I used a mind map to break down my entire syllabus. Each branch represented a key topic like the cognitive development or the behavioral theories, and I added sub branches for details like theories, case studies, and the core concept. This method helped me to see the connections between the topics and made recall much easier during the test. Studies show that visual learning can improve your learning and retention rate by up to 65% compared to the text alone. For example, famous entrepreneur Elon Musk is known for using his first principles thinking, often visualizing problems and their solutions in flow charts to simplify the complex ideas. So use simple tools like a blank sheet of paper and colorful pens to draw basic diagrams or charts. For example, if you're studying history, create a simple timeline to organize events chronologically. You will find that this hands-on approach makes information stick more effectively and feels less overwhelming than the pages of text. Remember, success isn't about how long you study, it is about how effectively you study. Try these techniques and watch your productivity soar. Let me know in the comments which tip you are excited to try first. Do not forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more study hacks. See you in the next video. Namaste.